Rush. My favorite band, your favorite band. And even those who didn't once love Rush cannot deny their influence, their spectacular musicianship, the lyrics. But Rush, they were also the kings of all media. Three of the best players ever to play rock: Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, Neil Peart. Our Rush collections grew through the years, and with each phase of media, we grew along with that, collecting their Rush albums over and over again, which is actually kind of cool in that I have here a cassette tape. My very first Rush, by the way. This is it, the original. This is what got me hooked of 2112. But of course, I had to upgrade to the CD. And then, finally, I have a couple copies of 2112 on vinyl. So collecting all these different versions through the years, growing, getting better, and then going back to that sweet analog sound of vinyl, because I didn't have the original vinyl of 2112. So I got it later. Then books, of course. Neil Peart's very first book, The Masked Rider, all the way to one of his last books, The Illustrated Quotes, where we have, I kept stuff in there, different illustrated quotes of Neil Peart, different visual media. I have a cassette tape over here. This is the DVD, all the way to Blu-ray. So through the years, our collections grew in each format that they came along, from analog to digital to a better refined high-definition version of digital for video, and so-called with 8-track to tape to CD, and then back around to vinyl. Now, a lot of you guys probably have the original vinyl. I wasn't old enough, actually. When I discovered Rush, late 80s-ish, the vinyl days were kind of over, and I was just seeking that sweet CD at that point, right? Yes, this was my entry level, but it wasn't soon thereafter that I got my first CD player, and that changed everything. So there's so many different collections, and that's what we're going to talk about. The different ways in which we've collected Rush through the years. I'm going to show you some of my stuff. All right, guys, I'm Eric. We're going to have a lot of fun, and let's go. All right, let's do some CDs. Let's get to it. All right, so in 1974, that's when Rush basically was born, okay? 74, the same year I was born. And in that year, their very first album was called it was called Rush. And of course, John Rutsey was the drummer for this one. You see the track listing on the back. And of course, we are looking at the CDs because they're just easier to hold. And if I scoot this direction, right back there, you can actually see that's my remastered, updated, double vinyl copy. It's got a lot of really cool goodies in it. It comes in a big kind of pizza box. I'll show you to you in a little bit. But for now, just so I can manage all of these years of music and all of these albums, we're looking at CDs. So, no long boxes this time around, but yes, very first album was Rush. Finding My Way, Need Some Love, Take a Friend, Here Again, What You're Doing, In the Mood, Before and After, and Working Man. Rush, 74. After that, albums came very quickly back then, right? The guys would release an album, they'd go on the road, okay, to tour to support it. Meanwhile, they'd be writing songs while they're on the road, and then right back into the studio with a really abbreviated, short amount of time to cut an album. You guys know the story. You've seen the documentaries. Well, why I bring this up is because, yes, right around the corner came Fly By Night. Now, between these two albums, a lot happened. John Rutsey left the band, and they needed a drummer. It's that simple. Just like in the documentary, we needed a drummer. So, who do they find? They got a lot more than they asked for. They found Neil Peart, working at a tractor supply company, a farm equipment store with his dad. And so that's what he was doing. So they get Neil, they get money, and to actually cut the album, and they record Fly By Night. And this time around, Neil starts writing lyrics. And we start to see some of the longer songs come into play, right? What Neil and Rush became known for, why we love them. Neil Peart's lyrics with all of that amazing music from the boys. So, Fly By Night, the first one with Neil. Anthem, Best I Can, Beneath, Between, Behind, what a great song. By Torn a Snow Dog, another great song. Fly By Night, not my favorite. You know what? And Getty doesn't even like this song. So, dun 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 dun, we're giving it the Golden Turd Award. We all love Rush. We love every album, every song. However, if we have to name one song that's just... this gets the Golden Turd Award. So, there we go. We're serving it up. The Golden Turd for Fly By Night. The song, not the album, but Fly By Night, the song. It's the first time I've used that little prop. It's so stupid. Next up, Making Memories, Rivendell. Okay, so this is Neil. All right? Loves Tolkien. He loves The Hobbit. He loves Lord of the Rings, Rivendell. And finally, In the End. Now, what's cool is, with some of the very first albums, I have it, of course. Okay? The CD right there, Mercury label. Now, however, there were remastered versions, okay? I own it, but my friend Joel had the remastered versions. I had to have a copy. So I made a copy. So yeah, that's what this is. This is Rush, and this is Rush remastered original. I believe I did that for the first few albums. Fly By Night, same thing. As you can see here, original and my remastered copy. My friend Joel lives in Texas. I just mentioned him a moment ago with regard to Dream Theater. And this next one kind of puzzles me a little bit. I was kind of flipping through these before we did this. And this is Crest of Steel. What does it say right here? The Rush remasters. What's funny is, okay, this is the remastered version of Caress of Steel, okay, the third album. But for some reason I have this. I have no idea why. Maybe I was just being thorough that day. Now, what's great about this remastered is that the see-through, okay, where there's actually a little bit of extra art in here. That's that's what was sacrificed. Yes, CDs are better, okay, sound quality, much better sound quality. And as we move from analog recording to analog mastering to analog production of the actual CD, right? Those three, the AAD, and finally we went DDD, a complete digital pipeline, to recording, mastering, and actually producing music. Point is, though, we sacrificed a lot. We sacrificed real estate, actually room to show off all the amazing photos and artwork. I mean, look at that. And at my age, I can't begin to read that, right? As a young man, maybe I could read those lyrics. Now, forget about it. Forget about it. So that is the bummer about CDs, and why I took the time to look for those long boxes and search for them with you. I wanted to find them. Again, long boxes were a great, step between, okay? Going from big, beautiful vinyl, okay, the size of the artwork and the presentation of the album, down to this little dinky thing. It's worse now, right? With streaming and downloads, come on, there really is no artwork, except for a cheap little JPEG that represents the album. You look at watching Spotify and there's this crappy little... That's not the artist's vision. And that just bothers me. Another reason why I love to collect vinyl now. Okay? The artwork, the presentation, what the artist, in this case Rush, dreamt of producing and giving us, okay, the complete package, if you will. And as we know, Neil spent a lot of time in the actual production. And so, all right, so Caress of Steel, here we go. Bastille Day, I Think I'm Going Bald, which they wrote for a friend. Lakeside Park classic. Necromancer, huge song, right? Dark but good song. The Fountain of Lamneth. I never say that right. The Fountain of Lamneth, okay? Another multi-part song, okay? Some really big stuff on here. Some people love this album, some people don't. It's a great album, okay? Caress of Steel. Next up, you've heard it 100 times from me. 2112, the album that changed everything. Earlier I showed you my actual cassette tape. That cassette tape changed everything. When I heard that, it was done. It was over. It was Rush for the rest of my life as the #1 slot in my favorite bands. However, I did, of course, finally get the CD. I probably own a couple of them. And yeah, no remastered in here. I mean, I own so many copies, but yeah, here we go. 2112. Of course, we have the entire suite, 7 parts. 2112, which is technically track 1 or side 1, which includes the overture, Temples of Syrinx, Discovery, Presentation, Oracle, The Dream, Soliloquy, and Grand Finale. After that, some regular songs, if you will, right? Not part of 2112. A Passage to Bangkok, Twilight Zone, Lessons, Tears, and Something for Nothing. Before we leave 2112, in the world of CD, this is the big anniversary, 40th anniversary version of 2112. And as you can see here, I'm going to turn these the right way so they're not pentagrams. Just kidding. But yes, there you go. All right, all the red stars, 3 different discs. What's great is that there's some covers on here, one of which is Steven Wilson. Love Steven Wilson. And he did a cover of Twilight Zone. Okay? Now, lovely book. Okay? Still small, but it's big. Big. With a really nice big write-up and story inside here. Yeah, so there you go. 40 years, 2112. If you're ever looking for a bigger, better version of 2112, this is your boy. So yeah, there's 3 different discs. Check it out. 2112. So what Rush did for each kind of era was a lot of times it'd be 4 albums and a live album. Okay? So, what do we have? We had Rush, 1, 2, Fly By Night, 3, Crest of Steel, and 4, 2112. What do you do after the 4th album? You cut your very first live album. Okay? This is fantastic. All the World's a Stage. Okay? Their first live album. On here, I own 2 of these on vinyl, both original, I believe. No, one's original, one's remastered. We're going to get to that. Bastille Day. Excuse me, losing my voice. Anthem, Fly By Night, In the Mood. Something for Nothing, Lakeside Park, 2112. 5 parts up to the Grant. By Torrance Snow Dog, In the End, Working Man / Finding My Way, and What You're Doing. There you go. First 4 albums plus the live album. Next up, we're going to go in the next era of Rush.